Well, we've gone from like the highest of the highs to possibly the lowest of the lows. Shall we talk about The Last of Us episode 4? Because, oh gosh, I sent Muller a text the other night just saying, like, I don't know if I can do this much longer, man. Like, I'm close to calling it with Last of Us season 2.
Just like most of the audience
saying that to me.
It is just fucking intellectual torture at this point. I hate it. I hate everything this show is. I hate the fucking potato woman that leads it now. I just, it's awful. It's so childish the way it's written. It's so laden with like the most heavy-handed of social justice messaging. It's like it was made in like 2017 or something. Like, it's so dated now, and it's so obvious with all of this crap. I don't know how anyone can take it seriously anymore.
Well, the audience score has collapsed, and that last episode in particular, like the finger bang episode or whatever you want to call it,
I kid you not, man. I had to fast forward through that scene. I could not watch it physically.
It was. Do you know what it was for me? It wasn't just like I have no problem with lesbian sex. Mulholland Drive has a lesbian sex scene. I watched it many times as a teenage boy.
That's Naomi Watts, though. Like, that's a very different. That's a different scene.
But that was in, and that's a good comparison because in Mulholland Drive, those two actresses had real chemistry. The lesbian sex scene was believable, and it felt natural the way they came together. Whereas, no pun intended. Whereas in The Last of Us, it was horrible because they had zero chemistry, and all of a sudden they're fucking, and it's like, oh no, this is just not right.
I just imagine like the poor actress that has to play what the fuck's her name?
Isabella Merced, I believe, is the one acting opposite.
Yeah,
she must be a good actress.
Going through that whole scene, just like I want to throw up right now.
It's a hot girl from Superman coming up.
Yeah, I mean, she is, she is hot. I'll give her that. But like, okay, right. Let's be mature about this, gentlemen. Okay. If I compared their relationship in this show to their relationship in the game, where it's much more Ellie's much more driven, she's much more serious at this point. She is on a mission. Okay, she's on a mission for vengeance, obviously. She's out to kill Abby and everyone who participated in Joel's murder, and so doesn't necessarily have much time for relationships and the being the loving partner that she wants to be, all that sort of thing, because there's something else consuming her. And her girlfriend throughout it is just trying to pull her back from the abyss. This is a girl who's teetering on just like disappearing into vengeance and just having it consume her, and she's always trying to pull her back, but Ellie's like very much focused on what she's doing. That is quite mature. And I think that the game at least does a good attempt at handling that. This fucking clown show that we have to watch is just, Ellie is like laughing and joking. She's jovial. It's all just a big adventure. I don't get what they're going for. Like, can someone help me on this one? I don't get what they're trying to do with this.
Yeah, for example,
left. Does anyone know?
What?
How many episodes are actually left? Like, how much time do they have to tell?
2,
story?
I think it's 6 episodes for this season.
And isn't a 3rd season greenlit?
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh.
It's just going to open up to. The audience is going to have completely collapsed by the end of the season.
You can look at the IMDb, not the ratings, but the people that rate it, and the one where Pablo leaves, it's like 45,000 or something, and then by the end, Pedro rather, and by the end, it's like 14,000 people from a high of like 45,000. So like people aren't even reviewing it, watching it.
I never thought I'd hear myself say this, but I miss Pedro Pascal in this show.
No, like, I mean, it doesn't even need to be him. It's like a contrasting character that can be played well by actors. There's just nothing to gain from the conversations between these two, who are now our main characters. Meanwhile, when Pedro was in it, like, there was plenty for them to work through and to discuss and to have conflict over. But now,
well, imagine, like 2 different people, different ages, different backgrounds, different perspectives on the world. They can spark off each other. That's the essence of drama with characters. Like, we don't have that with these guys.
the conversations are fucking worthless. Like it is hard to stay awake watching it.
Yeah, I can't remember a single conversation they had. They are so fucking boring. And that's the first thing I noticed, because I watched prior to this season. I didn't play the game, but I watched the supercut on YouTube. It's like a 4-hour long of all the cutscenes. And I was appalled. I was actually shocked at how bad it was. And I was prepared going in that I knew that it would be bad. But the big thing that got me was just how fucking boring it was.
Anyone else find it hilarious that they hunkered down in like their own little HQ, which is about 10 meters away from a horde of zombies?
Yeah. But they looked like they were probably like secured behind those doors more, so I'm sure.
Oh, you sure? Are we sure?
So that's the thing. I wouldn't stop running until I couldn't fucking move my legs anymore, like from getting away from that shit.
Dude, they barricaded it with a chair. Did you not see them barricading it with the chair?
Yeah.
You know what? That's fair. We're all good. But the tonal difference felt like they'd shot it at completely different times, because as soon as they get into like the theater or whatever, it's like, well, yeah, there we go, done and done. And I was just like, what the fuck? We were just like panicking, and you'd just been bitten. Like, obviously, I know about the immunity,
Also,
but she should know.
This is the video game mentality, though, isn't it? It's like, we're transitioning from gameplay into a cutscene, and now the game's decided that we're safe, so that we can have this conversation, blah blah blah, and like that's what's driving this show. But like, this isn't a video game. Like, it's supposed to be believable.
Even in a video game, if I were, playing a video game and I go from a zombie horde to another building, I'm actually playing Dying Light 2 at the minute. It's a great game. The first thing you do is reconnaissance. You check for resources and enemies, and then you can, do whatever, chill out and look around at the little things they have in the game if you want to check that out. But in this, they get into the theater, they don't do any reconnaissance, they don't check to see if, well, are we the only people here, or is this, this wolf pack people here? They don't do any of that. They don't check for zombies. They just say, yep, this is good, we're fine. And that's not how people would behave in a zombie apocalypse. It's the behavior of Dina and Ellie, which is completely at odds with the world that they are in, and it creates this dissonance. And as you're watching it, you're aware humans would not behave like that in this kind of world. It's just totally at odds with the world that they've created. It looks like two actors going through a movie set, reading these boring lines, and then they they go into a record shop and they start, tapping away at the drums and checking out the records and playing the guitar, and it's like, fuck me. It's like, what is this?
It's when Ellie starts singing "Take on Me" and like she keeps going, and I thought like, oh, she'll get interrupted or whatever, and then the more that scene like stretched out, the more I realized the horrifying truth. Oh God, they're literally going to do the entire song while we have to sit and watch it, and I was like, thank God for the fast forward function.
Playing a drum kit in a zombie apocalypse is like a meme. When I saw her doing that, I was like, why? How do I make fun of that? That is the meme already. Like, what the fuck are you doing, you morons? And then, of course, like, the reveal, okay? It's like, I am immune, and I will prove it by being here, for X amount of time, and I won't turn into a zombie, which happens. Immediately kiss and have sex. I was like, I am never going to exchange any liquids with a person who is fucking carrier. Are you kidding me? I was like, they don't behave like with survival in mind whatsoever. It's like, why don't you think she's just a carrier? This is a very common understanding of how disease can work.
Have you seen 28 Weeks Later? I mean, Jesus.
God.
Yeah, also, she would be used to that. I mean, these are two young women who have grown up in a post-apocalyptic world. They are going to be aware that when people get infected, they will say all sorts of shit to not be shot, like, "Oh, I'm immune," or "No, it's okay, I've got medicine," or "Oh, no, it's okay, they've developed the vaccine." They'll say anything. They'll have heard it all before. You know what I mean? So it's not believable to me that Dina wouldn't kill her immediately. It would have been drilled into her from no age. If somebody gets infected, even if it's your own mother, you put a gun against their head and you shoot them quickly.
I mean, I could kind of get like the idea of, okay, I'm going to keep a gun on you, and if you show the slightest signs of like, sickness or turning, then I'm just going to shoot you. But I'm not going to do it necessarily right now. So I can sort of buy that, but like, again, it just, the way it's handled just feels like so inferior to the game. I just remember that scene in the game like flowing a lot more smoothly and just feeling a lot more logical and like just easier. It made more sense.
Sure.
How long does it take to turn in The Last of Us lore?
Very quick. Like,
I think it's like 2 hours. An hour? Yeah, it's it's a matter of hours.
Yeah.
I don't know, because if you're Dina in that situation, you're sort of thinking, well, what if she turns and it's really fast? She could turn in a second all of a sudden. and I could miss it. I don't know. I don't think it's
not as quick
believable.
as that, but yeah.
I think it would be more a case of if they wanted to do that, they would have had to handcuff her to a radiator or something like that.
I get you.
I think that probably would have worked better.
It's too sloppy. But I mean, that's the least of its problems. Like we're discussing tiny details here. Like in terms of the broad strokes, the thing's just wretched.
Did you like the way that Ellie just casually murdered a guy who was like twice her size?
Dude, there's so much wrong with that scene. When she like sees the staircase and decides I'm gonna climb up it, I was like, they have to get these tight ass shots to make us believe there would be any fucking hope in hell she could have done that stealthily. The last 2 steps at the top, you hear like a and then the guy goes, "Wait, what?" and looks over there and he's like, "Huh, I think the stairs are cleared." I was just like, no fucking way she got up all of there without making a single sound. And especially, the room is not that big and they're all walking around it. I was like, you'd be spotted easily.
This is straight out of the game again. But
yeah, they don't want to have to work for it. They're just like, whatever. And then, yeah, she has a fight with him that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it is obscene, especially when you've done martial arts, you realize how dumb this is. And there's a scene where she's got the guy by the neck. Now, look, and realistically, a guy that big, all you would have to do is just drop. If he just drops,
he would be able to grab her and just fucking throw her over.
He could do that if he wanted. He could drop and put his weight on her, and that would pretty much knock her unconscious. Instead, he struggles around, and then she holds him with her left arm, and she withdraws her knife with her right. So she's actually holding this man twice her size with one arm, and he can't get away like some squealing pig. It's just insulting to the audience's intelligence.
And this is from a show that was generally quite well received with season 1. Like, I think we'd probably all agree, like, season 1 did a pretty good job. There was the odd rough episode, and, you know, we can certainly argue about the casting, but overall, like, it was fairly well written, and I think it was fairly coherent and believable for the most part. Then you get to this, and it's just garbage. It's slop.
I mean,
it's absolute slop masquerading as like po-faced seriousness.
They're adapting garbage, so it's like the more accurate they are, the more horrible.
Wasn't this to be expected? That's what I was going to say. Is because you knew it was going to happen.
With the games, you can understand. It's like Neil Druckmann apparently forced Amy Hennig out of Naughty Dog, and she was like largely responsible for the good quality writing on Last of Us Part 1. And then took it over himself because it's like, well, okay, fine. There's a different creative team involved in this one, and it's like ideologically driven, and it's just slop garbage. With the TV show, though, like it was the same people. Same people wrote and directed season 1 as directed season 2, and so you'd think there'd be a bit more of a continuity of quality there, but apparently not.
Was Neil I mean, I know he's listed as an executive producer on the show, but does he have creative control of this project?
I think he does, yeah.
Pretty heavily. That's a death knell for it, because the only chance it would have had, and this was actually a really good opportunity, it could have looked at all the criticisms of the video game, of which there are many. Now, there's some excellent videos online. The Closer Look did a very good examination of it, and he literally lists all of the problems, which he explains in detail with the second video game. They could have looked at all that stuff and said, okay, well, here's our problems and here's how we're going to solve them. It's a pretty good opportunity to do that, and instead they just made the same mistakes again, which is incredibly hubristic.
That's what it is. It's ego. It just comes down to ego, because like to change it and to react in the face of criticism would mean admitting that what you did wasn't well received. What you did wasn't that good. And so you have to change it now to please people. And that just, I don't know. Neil Druckmann's ego just won't allow for that. He has to do it exactly as he did in the game. And that's effectively what they do here. Almost down to like the shots, like beat for beat, are just exactly the same.
Well then.
I mean, yeah. On the plus side, Ellie's going to be a dad. Do you know that?
Oh yeah, Christ.
Can I show you? Can you handle this level of cringe? I'm going to try. I might get a copyright strike from HBO. You know, that's not been unknown recently.
Warner are the worst for that. I find just in terms of copyright, like editing stuff and try to get it past YouTube copyright, Warner are the strictest when it comes to copyright.
They are, but like when I uploaded my video, it passed all the copyright checks and it was fine. It was only when it got like, 500,000 views or whatever it was.
So scummy.
Someone went in and manually copyright claimed it and said like, nah, you can't have this because you're criticizing our show. And literally, it's only because I think a lot of people made videos about the fact that it got blocked, and I raised a stink about it on social media, that it got unblocked within a matter of hours. Like, they backed the fuck off from that one, which is nice and all, but like, that's just lucky that I've got the reach to be able to do that. But a lot of other people who might have legit criticisms of the show might not have that, and they don't have that recourse. So what's going to happen to them? Like, they'll get struck or they'll get blocked or whatever, and they can't say anything. That's how they get to abuse the copyright system like this, and nobody, for the most part, can check them. It's bullshit,
the copyright
man.
system on YouTube is so broken because if you appeal, it just goes to the person who copyrighted it, and then they decide whether or not to keep their copyright. And then if you want to move past that, if it gets rejected again, you get a copyright strike on your channel, which is a disaster for the channel algorithmically. It's so fucking broken, the YouTube copyright system. Don't even get me started on that shit.
It is, but like generally, if you go to appeal, they will back off. If you take it that far, like they've always backed off. Like, apart from maybe one video I've had where they then wanted a removal, but like every other time they've backed off from it. So it does, at least, like, if you're willing to push it pretty far, it's usually okay. But you should probably do it one at a time, because if you have a whole bunch of them, like, potentially up for appeal, they could all get copyright strikes, and then boom, you got your 3 strikes, and then your channel's dead. So yeah, it's a gamble. Anyway, let's check out the Ellie and Dina drama.
Ellie's gay, by the way.
So we're having a baby.
No, you're not. You're not having anything, you fucking human potato. Like, Dina's having the baby, and Jesse is arguably having it with her because he's the father. You're nothing. You're not part of this equation.
Does he even come up in their conversation? Because I'm sitting here like Gandalf thinking I have no memory of any of these scenes. But
they do mention him. They do
He's,
mention him, but it's literally just a passing mention.
He's got like 5 seconds of screen time left, that boy. He's going to end well for him.
Yeah.
I mean, we, and also, I guess, Jesse, or it was Jesse, right?
I love how he's just a throwaway, like, I've fucked so many guys. Like, it could be Jesse, it could be half of Jackson, who knows? Like,
So we're all having a baby.
Like, that looks like an actual girl, and this one just looks like, I don't know what this is.
I'm gonna be a dad.
That is in the running for like the cringiest moment of the year. Last year, I actually gave it to the fucking Jaguar ad last year. It was almost that Acolyte fucking witch chant, the power of many.
Yeah,
but that's in the running now. I'm going to be a dad. That could be the cringiest moment of 2025.
I can only tell you, man, like, watching this, I had a physical reaction, like, watching her say that. Like, I feel like my spinal column's like, come on. Like, it's horrible.
It is. I mean, being as generous to it as possible. I think they wanted, like, it's kind of supposed to be a fairly heartwarming, feel-good kind of joke, as opposed to I am sincerely in favor of this idea that women can be a dad kind of thing. The problem is that because everything else message-wise in the show is so very on the nose, it's kind of can't escape being read as very sincere, much as everything else in the show tries to be. So it's going to piss people off either way.
It's like when they go through Seattle, they're riding through the ruins of Seattle and there's pride flags everywhere. Somehow, after 20 years, they're still there. Like, yeah, okay. And then they have to comment on that as well.
They had to know how it was going to come across.
It's just so tired. It's so 2018 writing. Like, it's so dated now. Like, every other writer in Hollywood, as ideologically driven as they might be, would know something that on the nose is so passé. Like, the audience isn't going to accept it. It's so cringe. But it's like, this just comes from a different era, and they're like, no, this is new and hip and cool. Let's do it. It's
Well, that's the thing is you're starting to see so many course corrections, but there's so many things that are held over that still have to come out. And I know we'll talk about it eventually, but
like,
yeah,
this show
how much is left over, you think, from the game that they had to adapt? You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, but like the game didn't have pride flags and murals and all that crap in it. As far as I remember, anyway, it was just like ruins that you were making your way through. So this is new. And like this show hasn't been trapped in development hell for years or anything. Like this is very much a product of the current day. I mean, it's adapting an older game, but you know, it's even the game was self-aware enough to not have stuff like that like front and center, I guess.
Well, the game did have a 10-minute conversation about somebody's transgender identity after, like, this was a couple of minutes
but the game gave us Fat Girl as well, so he sorted that one out.
I'm just wondering if that's someone inside of HBO, like a note that was like, you should have more of this, and then they listened.
People are asking for Fat Gal to appear. It's like, you should be asking for nothing less than his own show at this point.